Today in America, there really is only one unforgivable sin, and that is to deviate from the accepted script when speaking of protected identity groups. It is to say something, whether intentionally or not, that either offends protected identity groups or that the elites find offensive on their behalf. What I think is important to grasp from the outset is that identity politics today is not just the dominant ideology when it comes to civil rights. It's the dominant ideology in America, period. If you look at prominent politicians, professors, producers, pundits, Fortune 500 CEOs, tech gurus, journalists, all of the famous, credentialed, and successful people who comprise our ruling class, they either all affirm the tenets of identity politics or at the very least are deferential to them. Americans are now divided into favored and disfavored groups, and civil rights law, we are told, should not apply to the favored groups. Identity politics is demanding that we judge people not by the content of their character, but by the color of their skin, their sex, and their sexual orientation. And it demands that we do so in perpetuity. It rejects the principle of what James Madison once called equal rights under equal laws. And it instead demands that we build a modern caste system that privileges some groups over others in our laws and culture. Identity politics is not answering the question, who am I? Although it does have an answer to that question. Its primary focus, rather, is the much deeper question of, why is there evil in the world? And identity politics provides a clear and unambiguous answer. Because of straight white men. Identity politics takes and modifies the Christian teaching on sin. It now no longer applies to everyone, but only to the oppressor groups. But here's the more important modification. It offers no hope of salvation or of redemption from sin. Equal group outcomes are now the measure of equal opportunities between groups. And under this logic, all disparities can only have one explanation: discrimination. All disparities are blamed on discrimination, and anyone who suggests otherwise is immediately called a sexist and a racist in order to silence dissent and stymie inquiry. And here, of course, ultimately is the great paradox of this focus on group results. It requires discrimination in order, it says, to eliminate discrimination. If you focus on results, this will inevitably lead you to deny positions to some people on the basis of their skin color, their race, their ethnicity, their sex, their sexual orientation, you name it. The main reason that identity politics exerts such a powerful pull in America is because it suggests that we can either embrace identity politics or remain callously indifferent to the well-being of fellow Americans who happen not to look like us. This, in truth, is a false choice. Identity politics should be rejected not because it demands justice for those who have been unjustly treated, but because it poses a threat to Republican self-government by corroding patriotic ties and demanding special treatment rather than equality under the law.